Let's talk about the first movement in our swing, and that's going to be called the load. Now, the load carries a couple of different words that we use. We also use the word coil. We use the word stretch. All these words go into this first movement, this movement prior to swing. It's super important because it gets us into a position where I can be consistent. You moving into a loaded position allows us to be able to create as much potential energy as I possibly can, and then get ourselves in position so that rotation and bat angle and all those pieces can leave from the same spot every time. So as we talk about load in our stance, this is the load conversation. You'll hear several of those words in the middle of it. My stance, I get into a relaxed position. We want to make sure that my elbows don't get above my hands. If your hands are down, just make sure your elbows are down as well. Being able to move into a good position however you'd like, but please remember the position that we're going to swing out of is this mechanical position here. So as you turn and come through it, you will be in this position. So the further you get away from that, the more difficult it is to have the advantage that we're looking for. Being able to load has a squat that creates a hinge in my hip. Hinge. Move my chest over my back leg and lift my heel. You can lift your foot, but you at least have to lift your heel. You see a lot of different variations in the MLB now, especially as people throw 100 miles an hour plus. Lifting your foot up off the ground may not be the right move, but for youth hitters and young hitters, you have to eat up so much time that it's almost necessary for you to lift your foot all the way up. So that happens when you move your chest over your back leg. It's just a balancing move. That right there is what it's supposed to look like. Squat, move over your back leg, and lift your foot. Now, when you lift your foot, I don't want you to bring your foot back to you. It's not a forward and backward move. It's not this. It's a lift. You can bring your knee to the center if you like, but when you come back out, your hands have to move in the opposite direction. That's called our stretch. So we squat, we fold, and we stretch. And those are the three moves of a good load. When you land, you are landing in what position is called launch. You're landing in your launch position. So we load and land and launch. Those are the words that we use so that we can describe and coach good hitting. What does it look like at launch? It means, what does that look like after you are there? Now that's before you sink your heel. It's the first time that your foot touches the ground. Where are you at in launch? Load to launch and swing the bat. That's what we're trying to accomplish with you, is have that perfect swing. So every detail along the way has to have some words that go by it so that we can discuss it and talk about it from a perspective of breaking it apart. So the load has a squat, it has a fold over my back leg, it has a lift, and then we have this stretch where my hand and my foot go opposite directions. When I land, we land in launch position. So the first drill that we're going to do today is going to be a T drill, and then we're going to progress it all the way through our live work today. This is going to be, the name of it will be load to launch. All right? Load to launch, T work. Looks just like this. Normal stance. You can do a pullback if you'd like, but I'm just going to take a normal stance and I'm going to sink, fold, and stretch. I'm going to stop at launch and then go. Looks just like this. That one was with me without the pause. Let me do one more with the pause. And you'll notice that once I get to launch, I don't go forward anymore. I plant my heel and rotate. And that's super important as we get to the conversation about the pitcher throwing me a ball and timing. Now, when we get to short toss today, we're going to be at 15 feet with darts being thrown to us, and we're going to do the exact same procedure. You're going to do load to launch, pause, and hit the ball. That instructor is throwing you the ball will take 2 balls, he taps them together, raises it up, and throws it. And again, try to throw it on a line best you can without reaching back. It's called a dart because we throw them like a dart. Okay, 15 feet's about perfect. I need you to get your feet on the ground at release. So all the load to launch happens after I touch my 2 balls together, and then I get to there. You got that amount of time to load and get back to the ground. So it gives you some tempo by which to do the drill with respect to a ball coming out of somebody's hand. Finally, we want you to back up. We want you to throw batting practice. And I want you to take half of them with a pause. And then I want you to start to put your foot down at the hat. Now the hat, for somebody that throws really hard, the hat's going to be halfway. You can pretty much mark halfway, maybe a couple ticks in front of halfway from wherever he's throwing it. That's where the hat goes if they're throwing pretty good. If you've got somebody that's throwing easy, then the hat can move closer to you. But mark halfway, and then maybe one good step closer to you is about where the hat should start. And that's when my foot gets down, boom, and then I can go. All right? Trying to get into a launch position so I can swing now, or I can swing after I need to hold that position. That's what we're working on. The timing of a ball coming to you and you holding a position so that you can swing out of is what we're practicing. I know a lot of you will make the mistake of put your foot down and keep moving and swing, and we're not trying to time the ball with our feet. We're trying to get our foot down as close to correct as possible to your best pitch. And then from there, we'll start to see the different variations of the spin and see the different hand movements that cut across the ball. And then we know something's not right because it didn't come out exactly clean like it does on a normal fastball. These are the ideas that we want to start to bring about in your mind as we do load to launch today.